Hello, welcome to fuck this. Welcome to the Cornbird live stream. Cornbird Studio live stream. I've been away from a while because I had the how long has it been really? I guess I was sick for like 2 weeks or something. But anyway, one weekend I thought I was getting better and I was streaming. I was like, oh, I'm going to feel better soon. But then it got worse, so I decided to see the doctor and got the medication I need. And apparently, like the coughing, all the light coughings I've been doing, that I've been having were but they were bacteria related. Like even though I was fine and like climbing and all that and exercising, but suspected mycoplasma, which is something called like walking pneumonia or something, because like people can feel alright, but then they're coughing here and there. Anyway, this was inspired by mycoplasma. Yeah, last week was really shit. Like sometimes I couldn't sleep because of how intense the coughing would be. And I guess like because I was feeling so sick that I decided to do some very chill painting. And I'm really glad I did because it's been really fun to do these. I kind of want to talk, like with every stream, I like to talk about like small bits of things that I learn, because like I do post every day on Twitter and on threads on like small bits of things that I learn every day when it comes to art or I don't know, life. But on Twitter there's like this word limit, so I feel like it's always it's very hard to like express the things that I learn, like just because I really like to talk about these kind of things. So sometimes it feels really frustrating when I'm like, oh, I want to say more about what I learned today, like, oh, the color blue or something, but then word limit, character limit. And I feel like I can do that kind of, I can release that kind of frustration on my live streams just because I can talk wherever I want. Yeah, today's just gonna be chill drawing, painting, because normally I do 3D stuff. Like, I kind of feel like I've only just gotten better today. And like I also climbed for the first time in 1.5 weeks yesterday. The day before. Yeah, the day before. I feel like, oh my god, like my perception of time is always so convoluted. Like last stream I also said that I studied art for 4 years, and it was like, wait a minute, no, it was 3 years. Anyway, sorry for tormenting you guys with my cough in the past few weeks, but I hope that this time around it will be gone for good, and then I can finally record my tutorials. And I pretty finished the script for the next tutorial that I'm doing, and I kind of like timed it, and it's kind of around like 27 minutes, having second thoughts. But I hope that it will be a very good tutorial that will explain how I use my macropad for Nomad Sculpt. Yeah, just tired. It's like, I'm not sure if it's just not climbing or exercising because I've been exercising pretty consistently once every alternate week. And like, once I break away from that for 1.5 weeks, when I got back, like, there's this tiredness that comes from I'm not sure whether it's just the body recovering from all the intense coughing that I've been doing that probably destroyed a lot of cells of my throat or something. But yeah, I'm just so tired. But yeah, let's have some fun with this. I think I'm also feeling like pretty stressed up that someone was asking, like, objectively, it does feel like my skill levels in art is quite up there. And I feel like I always never knew how to answer that kind of questions. But last week I realized that actually, like, I can't figure out what the answer is, and that to be a good artist, you have to be good at the art itself, or you have to be good at the art that you like to do. Because, like, I can do quite a lot of other arts that I guess, like, simpler, and I can do that well, but then it's not in my interest. So the type of art that I want to do, which I don't really know what I want to do yet, I feel like it's still difficult for me. And then the other thing is that to be a good artist, you have to put, like, time constraints on yourself, hit deadlines and all that. And I think that's probably what makes me not a good artist, because I struggle with time. Because I can spend, like, a lot of time on something and make it look really good, but then no one's going to wait for months just for, like, one piece of art. So yeah, I think, like, just being sick for 1.5 weeks made me feel really stressed that, like, I'm really slow, and then I have to spend 2 weeks, like, coughing the shit out of my lungs and feeling so tired. Like, I felt so guilty not doing anything in the most part. But I'm feeling better now, and, like, this kind of things, people on this stream, on my channel, they know, you guys know that I'm depressed. And I feel like there's no shame in talking about that kind of things. And also like, if you're depressed yourself, I want you to know that, like, it's always not a one quick fix kind of thing. Like, it's not like you can suddenly fix it and then overnight just become okay. It's all about consistently, slowly, bit by bit, getting better and better, even if it's like 0.01%. And I feel like I was able to bounce back from, like, having very depressive thoughts in the past 2 weeks. And I'm really happy with that, because, yeah, just being aware that you're just, like, a little bit better. I feel like that really helps for people like me who keeps getting depressed about so many stupid random shit. Yeah, it's all about the long road and not about the quick fix, because that's just not productive. I haven't streamed for a while, so I'm just, like, rambling on. I guess I have a lot more in my mind than I thought I had. And I guess the good news is that I'm talking this much, but I'm not really feeling that much of a cough impulse. So maybe I can even start recording tonight or tomorrow. Although I want to climb tonight, and I feel like probably because my body is still, like, trying to rebuild itself, that maybe I'll just be too tired. And I should do this fast, because it's gonna be a shorter stream today. Anyway, the thing of, like, I've been doing some paint studies in the past few streams, and then what's that? There's one, or I think there were 2 streams I did a low contrast painting, and after that I learned that low contrast painting is really difficult, right? If you are in those 2 streams, like, can probably see me struggling quite a bit with low contrast and all that. And then after that I started painting this one, and then I realized like, no, it's not low contrast that it's not like purely just low contrast that's difficult. I think it's also like, let me just, it's probably also, and like all these things I'm talking about is just like things that I'm trying to figure out on my own for myself, because yeah, like I have to think about these kind of things to improve. So it's not a tutorial or anything, but I hope that probably the insights may be useful to you. So like the painting had these kinds of like low contrast things going on. And I think probably why I found it so difficult, for one thing, is I don't really know how to paint clothes folds. And I feel like probably the structures of the goal and the shirt is just like too foreign to me. But the other thing is also that like in the picture there were too many of these kind of variations, and then it's like just a lot of things combined. It just felt so difficult to like figure out what I don't understand, just because like at certain parts it's like probably I don't understand how close folds painted, and then on the other, like somewhere like a few pixels down, then I probably didn't understand what the value is supposed to be, like what the correct values are. And then on top of all that mess of not knowing what I don't know, there's all these variation in grays in the low contrast. I mean, something like this that confused me so much. Anyway, I ended up not, like, the longer I spent time on it, the less fun I was having, so I dropped it because I was like, this is kind of like beyond my level right now. But then I started painting this, and then I was like, oh, you know what, it's probably not low contrast that I'm struggling, as long as it's straightforward. So like the values here are like, this gray is kind of the same gray. This one is just like a blue, whitish blue gray, and then these blues are pretty straightforward. But anyway, I really like how this one turned out. Might be a bit too bright. Let me. It looks like pretty on the camera too. And then I was kind of like figuring out what colors I wanted for these little things. And there's some where like the drawing is not really done yet, so I have to kind of figure that out. But I can probably just paint up the ones that I've really kind of done a neater drawing of. Like this one. Look at this, fucking cute. And then maybe this one. So let's clean this up a bit. Oh, and learning point for today's stream is I feel like this is something that I've come to learn after doing some of the portrait studies very mindfully. Why did I delete that layer? And it's I'll just do this again. Something that I found really important to me is I used to do like really high contrast like that, and then I guess it's like a certain style or something, but like areas where it's not supposed to be dark, I'll do it too dark. And so I've been trying to be more conscious of like variations in value. Although this might be just like a thing of I don't know enough about painting. So maybe if I'm good at painting, then maybe I would know like where to push the values. But right now I really like the way that this looks, so it's fine. The other thing that I realized is that when I do white stuff for highlights, I think I tend to, I'm not really sure, I don't remember because I haven't painted for a really long time before I started doing the paint studies and then this one. But I guess like I can't tend to choose like around here, and somehow like it just click in my mind today. I mean, not today, but since doing the paint studies, that the difference of the value of white between this, like just here and over here, is really big. So you can see like when I'm all the way up there, it's a lot better. Actually, this one, where are you? Let's just undo this. Like these might seem like really straightforward stuff to maybe like anyone dropping by the stream, but I feel like I was like, oh, like no wonder I can't really get that like punch sometimes, or even if I did, I wasn't really conscious of why it was better like sometimes and why it was worse some other times. So I'm just going to add this. Yeah, I learned quite a bit about color in general. Maybe I should. Colors, value, saturation. Which I feel like maybe I'll just like do a video about it eventually. Yeah, that's like a little bit cleaner than just now. I guess like when it comes to this also, I find that something that we're trying to be conscious about is the local value is quite wide. I'll try not to go like that far down the value scale, just because the thing of a white object, there's a lot more bounce light that comes from it. So if I do like this dark, I guess like it doesn't make sense, just because if the light hits here and here and here, it's going to start bouncing, like scatter light around over here. So there's something else that I find has helped my paintings. These kinds of like using more 100% brightness values and thinking about the bounce lights and the local value of objects. And like I guess for hair like there's more, like when I think about it, there's more of like a, like the reflections would be, highlights would be quite intense. But I guess in the most part, the midtones and the shadows of hair is not like really. Yeah, I feel like the gap, I'm kind of like talking to myself right now. Yeah, I guess like the gap of values is not really that big. Anyway, I should stop painting. It's good to be back again. I'm gonna clean this up a bit. Actually, when it comes to drawings like this, this is something that I can teach you about drawing limbs. And these are kind of things that I learned from live drawing many years ago, and then looking at art that I like. When it comes to like this lake, for example, you kind of want to do like the knee and then the connection of the leg, and then this is the calf, and then there's the shin bone here, and then the other side of the calf kind of goes like this, and then there's the ankle, and then there's the foot. But like I find like these, understanding this one and this area of the calf is pretty important for drawing the lower leg. And then when it comes to like, remember that from the side view it's kind of like this, right? Like this. You have the shin, and like if you touch the front of your leg, you can kind of feel the bony part with like not much fat or skin in between here. So this is what I'm conscious of trying to, when I'm trying to understand like how to draw the form of the leg. This is something that helps me for drawing like the lower leg. And then for I'm not really that good at drawing arms yet, and I feel like I've gotten better after understanding how my muscles, like what muscles I'm using when I'm climbing, which is really cool, like to understand anatomy better just because I'm using the muscles now. But you have the side delts, which is like really sorry. I have like my first side delts cramp this morning in my life. Never had a side delts cramp. It felt like shit. I felt like I was climbing pretty hard. I don't know about rear delts. Let me think. And after that, you have the bicep that goes down. And then you have the tricep down here. But usually triceps are like one of the hardest thing to train up because you don't really use it in everyday life. So it can get pretty straight over here. And then the forearms. So it will look kind of something like this. And then when it comes to the forearms, there's a muscle over here that goes down over here. I find it fun to talk about these kind of things, so I'm just gonna talk about these kind of stuff. There's like this brachialis thing over here. This one. Which can get overused in climbing because there's so much pulling in climbing. Which is also why you have to train up your bicep muscles and the forearm muscles so that it put less load on this muscle that kind of like straps around over there. And I feel like I'm training my arms a lot more now, which is pretty nice. When it comes to the rain, maybe I should work on this one first though. Oh, and then this is like a move where I've been seeing in climbing recently. So it was just fun to draw this kind of stuff. You just have to be mindful that the knees here. And then this is like the quads, like the main one that kind of pops up. You have the adductors here. But the main thing is that when you're squeezing the leg like this, the way that the skin folds over here, how to say, like I know the knee is over here, but you have to be mindful that the skin folds kinds of travel quite high up. So that's what this is. Let me see if I can make this better. I'm not really sure, but I'll try. There's a difference between doing this on like by myself and doing this on stream. So I guess like my introvert self don't really feel like talking anymore, so I'm just going to have fun drawing this. And also enjoy the music. So I feel like I couldn't really chill out like this for a while because the cough was so bad. So see, even something like this, if I just add this super bright white color here, suddenly makes it really shiny. It's really nice. I've been enjoying the metal nib a lot more now too. It's really nice to draw with. It feels nice to press on the screen with such a precise, I think this is 1 mm thick. It's very nice to press on the screen. I highly recommend this. The only thing would be drawing a little bit slow can cause a wobble. But then just draw a bit faster and it's fine. Like when I really get into drawing, I haven't really felt the wobble that much. Not really sure whether I like the nose. He needs more of the raw proportions. Yes, it's so nice to work in the rain, but I'll think about the nose next time. I think this head is it's too big. I think I also always wanted to do something like this, but like I can just draw lots of girls. It's been really fun to do this. I think this one is wrong, so let me fix this. guess this hand is too high up here. And also too big. So the hand is kind of like, if I place it on my face, I guess it's kind of like halfway up my forehead, like this. Just kind of second guessing what I should stream today, or even the past few days. And I'm glad that I chose to stream this because I mean, I think it's partly also just not coughing it anymore. I feel like I can finally take a break, I guess. I feel like everyone has the same hair look, so I want to give something for her too. I think about the curves all the time when I'm drawing the human body. And also thinking about not intersecting, because I think it will look better like this. Also like drawing this part of the leg, like the hip, I mean. I think it's just like a really aesthetic looking part of the body. because it feels like there's something nice about doing 3D, and there's also something distinctly nice about doing 2D stuff. I feel like I like both of them so much. Although I'm kind of trying to figure out, let me try to figure out this too. When it comes to drawing the thumb, I always have to like look at my hands and be like, is the thumb on the inside or the outside? So in this case, it's on the inside. I think I can contribute my ability to draw hands and stuff better from climbing. It's kind of like the thing of like the practical lessons. Is it? No, not practical. Practical. What is it? What's the word? It's not practical. Practical. Like, you know what I mean, right? When you can put it into practice, you remember things better. Like when we are doing live drawing classes in like year 1 or year 2 of school, art school, you're just like memorizing all these things, and even if I memorize it, I just forget because I'm like, my brain is like, what's the point of remembering all these things? But after climbing, it's like, oh, like this muscle is used for this. Like, oh, I have my hands and my forearm muscles are connected to my fingers. It's like, it's a lot of mind-blowing stuff, I guess. Mind-blowing for me, at least. Like, I just can't get over like how I never, like how little I knew about how little I knew about the human body and how it functions when I was younger. And I only realized how things work after I injure myself a lot. I guess like injury is the best teacher or something. Okay, let me work on, where are you? Let me work on the hair a little bit. I think in one of the painting live stream, I was feeling like, oh, I'm probably not going to paint on live stream again. But I feel different about it this time around. And you know, the thing of like being depressed, like you should become like hyper aware of the many different changes that you're experiencing. Because I think part of being depressed is like the hyperfixation on things that sticks to your mind, and usually things that stick to the mind is the negative things. But I feel like as I'm slowly learning how to like so-called hyperfixate on the small little things that I'm improving on, like it feels quite good for me when my feeling towards live streaming painting has changed a little bit for the better. Actually, I'm not really sure. I feel like her anatomy is wrong. Let me. I've been listening to them for a really long time, and I still like to go back to their albums time and again. One of my favorite bands of all time. I don't know what to do with her hands. Okay, I think this one. So I've already cleaned this up. This one is kind of alright. I mean, it's alright for now. This one's kind of like. Actually, let me see. Okay, so I can remove this now. What else? Let me just clean this up a bit. I'm still not really sure what I want to do with her, so it's really messy. Something that I realized too over time, that like I don't know whether it comes from me being depressed or what, but I've come to like doing playful things or like crazy things. Something like on the similar vein as my Elden Ring scalp run video. I feel like that's my jam. So, but the thing is also that doing expressions and all that stuff is quite difficult. So I have to work harder to learn how to get better, especially for sculpting. Sculpting expressions is so difficult for me. I should probably do something like this, but for sculpting at some point. The thing about the rotation, so I think this one is rotated wrongly. Probably more of like this, just because I think she's still like facing a little bit like forward. So just from the nature of facing forward, if this is her thighs, then this would be her leg. So I would emphasize this connection over here. I also feel like talking through these kind of things help me to remember things better too. I wrote this as I was coughing a week ago. coughing so much, feeling like shit. But this one's too straight. I always want to try and make like nice curves to the legs instead of like that. I think about that when I sculpt too. Oh, actually something else that I realized is sculpting has made me better at drawing. I feel like something is wrong. Maybe it's supposed to go like that way or something. Just because like when I sculpting the body meshes and stuff, even though my lack of anatomy is quite obvious, but it's like the thing of learning a little bit every day, right? Like you can't expect to become a really good artist just without putting the time and the effort. Or at least I always feel like wanting to do that is kind of like an insult to people who do put in the time and the effort to study smart and become good by doing things well. But I feel like just the act of sculpting, it made me visualize these things a lot better. Even like this, because I'm thinking about like how it would look like when I'm sculpting like a cylinder for the thighs. Yeah, it's kind of, I feel like I just didn't really expect it, I think. The glute muscle is really important, especially for like if this is the butt and then the legs. And then there's like the main glute muscle, and then there's like the glute muscle that kind of attaches up here, I think. Because this is the one that I injured. So if you have tightness on areas like this, it can pull on like the spine structure, which like for a long time I always thought that I had like lower back pain and it's like some spinal issue kind of thing. But then slowly over time, over the years, I've learned that usually, or at least if you're kind of like fine and you have not been like in some serious accident or you haven't kind of like fucked up your body in a really serious way. But generally, when the muscle is tight, the tendon that is connected to like even the side of the leg will start to get pulled. And usually this is where we feel like the pain of like lower back pain or even like pain in the leg or what. And if you don't know any better, you're just going to assume that like, oh, I have something wrong with this, which is kind of true sometimes. Like maybe there's like spinal disc compression and stuff, which is very normal which I also got a lot. If like you have this pelvic tilt that's incorrect because from weak core and weak glute muscle, and that's why it goes like this. It feels nice to be able to like draw these things better just because I understand how the body works a lot better now. So like you kind of want to make sure that you're doing this so that you're not compressing the spine bones over here. Like you don't want to compress like the soft jelly disc between the spine. So if you do this a lot, like I did last time, you're gonna feel a lot of pain because of compressions. But anyway, yeah, this is really important for girls especially, there's like the glute mid and min inside that causes the knee to buckle in like this, and this can cause a lot of problems to the like different areas of the body. I think that's why a lot of my like people I know who feel injured when they get older are usually women, just because they don't know that they're supposed to use their glute muscle and strengthen it so that they're standing up straight like this instead of doing this. I was doing this a lot last time too, so I'm trying to reverse the effects of damaging my body from collapsing my knees all the time, especially when I run and start getting tired, and that's when it collapses a lot, and then it causes a lot of issues. The glute muscle is really important, and from the side view there's kind of like the curve of the hamstrings when you're bending the leg, and it's also aesthetic that way. And then let me see, I feel like this is not really that nice, so I'm going to correct this now. And I guess it's too long, or is this too short? I guess it's too long, at least for the proportions that I want. Something that I noticed too is that I've been a lot looser with my drawings, and I feel like to me that is an improvement, because I used to be like, oh, I need this to be like perfect strokes and stuff, but I feel like that kind of feeling stems more from being not knowing how to draw rather than being good. So I can start painting now. There's not a lot of time left. So I like this. I'm going to do a basic ball to show you what I'm doing. So I'm painting them like this. This one is pure white. This is a lighter color. And then I've saturated the color over here to make them look shinier. So this is the look that I'm going for right now. My brain was also probably quite tired from finishing the script for my latest tutorial video. So I already spent like quite a few hours doing my tutorial video. But then the problem was that I did it without script the first time. And I thought that would be fine because I'm like, oh, talking about my macropad, it's so straightforward. It's just like my macropad. But then I was so wrong. Because, like, for one thing, just because like there's so many keys, then my dialogue became really messy. Also a lot of repeated words, which I don't really like. And then I wonder whether I want this to be more out, but I can fix that next time. Just want to sharpen this to make it cleaner. At some point I probably would like do more of exaggeration, but for now these sharp claws look quite cute, so I'll keep it. But I would say like the recording was pretty rough, and then editing it was also pretty rough. And then at some point I was like, sat myself down and like, are you gonna keep on doing this edit? Because I think if you keep doing this edit, it's gonna take a really long time. So I was kind of like battling the thoughts of like, oh, should I just redo everything? But I also felt like, oh man, I already put so much effort in the initial cleanup, in the edit and all that. But in the end, I decided to scrape everything and just redo it, starting with doing a proper script for it. And then when I finished it yesterday, I was like, thank God I decided to redo it, because I feel like with the script it was just a lot better. And I hope that people who watch the video, when I do end up recording it, I hope that you guys enjoy it. Should probably look at what a wolf's head anatomy look like. Oh, I was looking at. Sorry, I wasn't looking at live chat. Hello, Divine Max Salt and Shira Alki. I'm good, and I'm really sorry that I missed it because I was just like trying to focus on chilling out. But thank you for coming in, and thank you for your thoughts, and yeah, the thoughts of wanting to donate and thoughts of it's nice to see you guys. me finish a bit of the sheet. We just try to finish up the rendering before I go. Not sure whether her legs are too long or something. Maybe it's too long. Like maybe her legs too long. Should fix it. Something else that I like to do from learning how to paint is just painting like a darker value for like mouths. So when it comes to the mouth and the lips, you can do like a darker color, and then the shadow, and then you can just add the highlight like this, and then it becomes, yeah, becomes a nice lip. Then when it comes to like the local value of the local value of the skin, so I'm adding the highlights of the hair at where the curve of the hair sculpt is. Of course, over here is quite stylized, but like the skin would be like a lighter tone, the eyeballs would be a lighter tone, although I'm trying to put her in shadow, so I'm not doing it like too hard like this. I mean, it might look nice, but then I guess I have to see how it looks like as the values build up. But maybe you can do that. So I'm consciously thinking about things like that too. And then there's this thing of need to and something like this. You have the mid-tone, you have the highlight, and then that saturated thing at the, what's that? I forgot what the name of this thing is. I kind of forgot about this and only remembered about this like a short time back, where it's darker over here compared to here, and this is the part where there's like the most contrast, the most detail, the core shadow, is it? And hello random yeep, do you mind drawing me a watermark that looks like my PFP? I like doing my own thing, so I'm sorry, I can't. But thank you for dropping by. And then yeah, so that's kind of what I'm doing over here. Where like I have this darkness over here at the place where the light ends, and then this will make the skin look really bright, or like I don't know, reflective. So I'll do this also. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong layer, no wonder. So yeah, small little things that I learned from just doing the bits of paint studies. And the thing is, like with the paint studies, I'm not looking for... Hello Shira, welcome back. I'm sorry for missing your earlier comment, and thank you for liking my art. I should go soon anyway, so I told my boyfriend that I'm just gonna try and finish the shading a bit, like just so that I can get a clearer idea of what I want to do with this. Because sometimes like it's really hard to tell what direction I want to go if only one bit is done. And how am I? I'm good. And how are you? I hope they are good too. Before I started streaming, I was kind of like, oh man, is it going to be stressful to do this on stream? But I've been having a lot of fun, and it's been quite relaxing doing this. It's quite slow, but that's the point, right? Being more mindful of what I'm doing, and then making sure that I'm understanding what I'm doing instead of just doing things very blindly. But yeah, the thing with the... Thank you so much. The thing with, what's that called? The paint studies I did, like, I think it can kind of seem to be less polished and stuff, but then I was really not focused on trying to polish it up. My main focus was to try and, like, even if I couldn't finish the painting, I wanted to put the importance on figuring out what I can learn from each of them. And I feel like that was something that I couldn't really do last time. Especially when it comes to like school assignments, right? You kind of want to make them look so good. But I realized that my focus has always been on like, oh, I need to make this look good. Oh, I need to make this match the reference. And I feel like people who become good painters, it's like they could understand like what is happening when they're doing it. But I feel like I've just never really was able to focus on the learning process of things. But yeah, I was like really tempted to just spend a lot of time to like refine a lot of things. And then I realized that the main focus should be just to learn what I need to learn. Let's see. Yeah, so like, can I see the drawing? Oh, this is the drawing. So like, when I post my stuff every day on Twitter and Threads, like it may not seem like much, or yeah, a lot of the times when I post, the art is not really that great. But it's because the focus is on learning how to get better at doing my own original art. So I think I can sacrifice posting shitty drawings for a while until I get good to be able to like post good things every day. Probably just finish this up and then I will hit off. Because one of the big important lessons I learned is on like being mindful of the brush size. So like, thank you for liking it. And especially when doing like more detailed stuff, so like the hands for example, it's very hard to do things with such a big brush size. So when I clean this up, I'll just go like with a smaller brush size like this and paint in the hands. And then that makes like painting a lot easier. At least that's what I find. I find like I think last time I used to feel like, oh my god, I need to paint fast or something. Like, oh, I'm so slow. But then it's like all these small things, like adjustments and behavior and habits will kind of like overall make the painting process be faster over time. I don't know if that makes sense. So yeah, like over here, I'm starting to work on her face. So when it comes to like the cheek areas like this, then I'll go bigger brush size so that, oh, you do pencil art, that's nice. So it becomes more smooth across overall here also. But then when it comes to the smaller areas, like let's say if I want to paint in the nose a little bit, then go smaller. So I think that's something that I really like learning from my paint studies. And it's also something that I will apply to my 3D stuff when I start painting over them. Like even for eyebrows like this, make sure that the brush size is correct, then you don't need to like, because if you use a big size, then you kind of need to correct the size of it. I feel like that was also something that I did a lot, like correcting the mess that gets left behind from incorrect brush sizes. I don't know whether that makes sense, but it used to be quite a big time waster for me. And also like I guess it's like quite a bit of a struggle, because especially when like learning things for the first time, there's so many things that gets in the way. And then because you're new to it, it's like you don't know what is going wrong. So I've been trying to be more conscious of like, oh, don't like build up the mess. And wish I was you. Well, I'm glad that you're not me, Shara, because the mental struggles is like really painful. And I'm glad that I'm yourself, and I'm really happy to encounter people like you on the wild internet. And also for something like this small, I think it's better to just simplify it a bit. So I'm going to make it a big spear instead. And I think I'll end it here with my corner bit. So thank you for tomorrow. If you can draw clear, I'm not really sure, I haven't watched the season 2. I'm not sure whether 222 is from, yeah, I don't remember 222. I guess it's season 2 then. Yeah, I wish that I am fast so that I can do all these random things like Squid Game drawings and stuff. Do you do jelly art digital? I'm not really sure. Like, this is also kind of like experimentation still for me, because I just started getting back into painting again. So I'm not really sure. Like, all these things are still very experimental. But I know that I like shiny stuff. And so that's where I lean towards too right now. And I don't really like overly jelly things. I think I prefer more crystal stuff. But I think that would be the direction that I go to for 3D too. But yeah, like it's quite difficult to blend in the things that I do in 2D with 3D still. I think that is one of the things that I'm trying to learn to understand, like how do I make my 2D and 3D stuff more like a single style. That's something that I'm still trying to figure out. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I have a lot of fun just chilling out like this and painting this up. I need to go, but thank you for hanging out with me. I'm glad that I could do something pretty for the stream, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye. Bye. Thanks for dropping by. Okay, I'll go now.